All of the videos that you have acknowledged, there are so many, and that the FBI spent thousands of hours of reviewing.
The overwhelming majority of that video is pornographic material that was downloaded from the internet and child sexual abuse material. We will never release that.
In just 23 seconds, one document, one name, one question. FBI Director Kash Patel couldn't answer. Dan Goldman put a folder on the table, looked across at Patel and said 5 words that destroyed everything. Does Trump appear anywhere? In the 23 seconds of silence that followed, as Patel sat frozen, unable to speak, unable to move, the entire cover-up collapsed. What happened in those 23 seconds would expose Document 23, the single most explosive piece of evidence in FBI possession. The document that traces $473 million in payments. The document that names 34 individuals. The document that mentions Donald Trump's name 17 times. The document Kash Patel buried for 8 months. Watch until the end, because when you see what Goldman reveals about the 36 buried documents, about the whistleblower, about the reclassification ordered the night before release, you'll understand why this moment will change everything. This is the moment the FBI's most carefully guarded secret was exposed on live television. House Intelligence Committee closed session. Multiple sources confirmed every word of what happened behind those doors. Dan Goldman entered that hearing room with evidence. Complete, documented, undeniable evidence. Daniel Goldman, 48, Democratic congressman from New York's 10th District, former federal prosecutor, Southern District of New York. He prosecuted organized crime, white-collar fraud, corruption. Prosecutors have one rule: never ask a question you don't already know the answer to. Today, Goldman already knew everything. For 6 weeks, Goldman worked with an FBI whistleblower, someone with access, someone with documents, someone tired of watching evidence get buried. That whistleblower gave Goldman something extraordinary: a complete copy of Document 23, every page, every name, every dollar. Kash Patel walked into that hearing room looking relaxed. Why wouldn't he be? He'd survived hostile hearings before, Democratic attacks, media scrutiny, congressional investigations. He had his playbook down: deflect, delay, claim classification, run out the clock, standard procedure. He had absolutely no idea what Goldman was holding in that folder. The first 2 hours were routine: counterintelligence operations, terrorism threats, budget allocations. Patel handled everything smoothly. He looked comfortable, in control. Then at 3:30 p.m., Goldman's turn came. He went straight for the throat. Director Patel, I want to ask you about a specific document in the FBI's Epstein investigation files. It's classified as Document 23 in your internal database. Are you familiar with it? The change in Patel was instant and unmistakable. His shoulders tensed, his jaw clenched. His right hand moved to the edge of the table, fingers drumming that nervous rhythm. The tell, the one that shows up every time he's caught off guard. Congressman, I would need to review the specific document classification before I could. I'm not asking you to review it. Goldman's voice was calm but firm. I'm asking if you're familiar with it. Document 23, internal FBI classification, part of the Epstein investigation files. Yes or no? Patel's 3 lawyers immediately leaned forward, whispering urgently. Patel held up his hand slightly, signaling them to wait. His brain was working overtime, trying to figure out how much Goldman actually knew. Congressman, there are thousands of documents in the investigative files. I can't be expected to. This isn't just any document, Director. Goldman opened his folder slowly, deliberately. This is Document 23. The document that your own investigators flagged as the most critical piece of evidence in the entire case. The document that was specifically referenced in internal memos as containing actionable intelligence on high-value targets. He pulled out a single sheet of paper, held it up so the cameras could see. So I'll ask again. Are you familiar with Document 23? Yes or no? The room was completely silent, every committee member leaning forward. This wasn't standard oversight anymore. This was a trap closing in real time. Patel swallowed hard. You could see his throat work. I may have seen references to various classified documents in the course of my duties. You may have seen references. Goldman repeated the words slowly, letting them hang. That's interesting phrasing. He pulled out another document from his folder. This is an email from you to your senior staff dated December 8, 2024. In this email you write, and I'm quoting directly, Document 23 must remain sealed. Under no circumstances can this material be disclosed without my direct authorization. All requests for access are to be denied and reported to me immediately. Goldman looked up from the email. That doesn't sound like someone who has only seen references, Director. That sounds like someone who knows exactly what document 23 is and is actively working to keep it buried. Patel's face had gone pale, actually pale, the color draining in real time on camera. Congressman, that email is classified. You don't have, not anymore. Goldman's voice cut through like a blade. Congressional oversight authority supersedes classification. I have the email, I have the document, and I have proof that you've been deliberately suppressing it for 8 months. The room erupted. Republican members started objecting. Democratic members looked shocked that Goldman had actually obtained classified material, but Goldman remained completely calm, focused entirely on Patel like a laser. Director, let me tell you what's in document 23, and then I'm going to ask you why you've been hiding it. He pulled out another document, thicker this time, multiple pages. Document 23 is a financial analysis compiled by FBI's Financial Crimes Unit in October 2024. It traces wire transfers, property transactions and cash payments between Jeffrey Epstein and 34 individuals over 15 years. Total documented transfers, $473 million. Goldman let that number hang. You could feel the room react. The document identifies recipients, names, dates, amounts, purposes, a complete financial map, who he paid, when, how much, what for. He looked at Patel. This document exists. Your investigators compiled it. They flagged it critical, and you buried it. Why? Patel tried to speak. His mouth moved but nothing came out at first. Congressman, the legal standards for legal standards. Goldman's voice rose slightly. This document shows hundreds of millions of dollars flowing from a convicted sex offender to specific individuals. That's not a legal standards issue. That's evidence of crimes. Multiple crimes. Conspiracy. Money laundering. Obstruction. Why didn't you pursue it? No answer. Patel just sat there, trapped. Let me be specific. Document 23 identifies 8 individuals who received over $10 million each. 8 people. 10 million minimum. Some significantly more. Of those 8, 3 former government officials. 2 currently in power. 1 media executive, 1 corporate CEO, 1 attorney representing high-profile clients. You had their names, amounts, dates, everything needed to investigate. You did nothing. Why? The silence was deafening. Patel's lawyers were frantically writing notes, but there was nothing they could write that would fix this. Goldman continued, his voice steady and relentless. I'm going to read you something from document 23. This is a direct quote from the summary section written by your own FBI analysts. He read slowly, clearly, quote, the financial relationships documented herein demonstrate a clear pattern of payments made in exchange for access, influence, and protection. Multiple recipients hold or have held positions of significant power. The scope and nature of these transactions warrant immediate investigation. End quote. Goldman looked up. Your own FBI analyst wrote that. They told you this needed immediate investigation. And what did you do? You sealed the document and ordered your staff to deny all access requests. Why? Patel opened his mouth, closed it. His hand was shaking slightly on the table. Everyone could see it. I can't discuss ongoing. There is no ongoing investigation. Goldman stood up now, walked around the committee table, got closer to Patel, not threatening, just direct, intimate, the way a prosecutor closes in on a witness during cross-examination. Director, you closed it. You told Congress it was closed. You told the media it was closed. You can't claim ongoing investigation status for something you already shut down. Goldman was standing right in front of Patel now. Director, I want you to understand something. I don't just have document 23. I have the internal FBI communications about document 23. I have emails from your staff questioning why the document was being suppressed. I have memos from field agents requesting authorization to pursue the leads. And I have your responses. Every single one, denying every request. He held up a thick stack of papers. All of it. Every communication. Every denial. Every excuse. I have it all. Patel was sweating visibly now. His collar was damp. His breathing had changed. Shallow and quick. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to ask you a series of very specific questions about document 23, and you're going to answer them truthfully. Because if you lie, if you give me one false statement, I will refer you for criminal prosecution. Not political threats, not partisan games. Criminal prosecution for lying to Congress. Do you understand? Patel nodded weakly. Good. First question. Does document 23 contain the names of individuals who received payments from Jeffrey Epstein? Pause. 3 seconds. Yes. Second question. Do any of those individuals currently hold positions of power or influence? Longer pause. 5 seconds. Yes. Third question. And this is the important one, Director. Goldman leaned forward. Did you personally order document 23 to be sealed and suppressed? Patel's lawyers started to object. Goldman raised his hand. Let me rephrase. I have your email ordering it sealed. So the question isn't whether you did it. The question is why you did it. Why did you seal evidence of financial crimes? Why did you deny your own agent's request to investigate? Why did you choose to protect people who received hundreds of millions of dollars from a convicted pedophile? Still nothing. Complete silence. And then Goldman played his final card. Director Patel, I need to ask you one more question, and I need you to think very carefully before you answer. He pulled out one more document. The room was absolutely silent. Does Donald Trump's name appear anywhere in document 23? And this is where the 23 seconds began. Patel sat there, staring, his face frozen, his lawyers behind him motionless. The room absolutely silent. Every camera zoomed in on his face. Goldman didn't fill the silence. He just waited, patient, like a prosecutor who knows the silence will break the witness. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Patel's hand stopped tapping, the nervous rhythm gone. 4 seconds, 5 seconds. His jaw worked but no sound came out. 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds. Someone coughed in the gallery and it sounded like a gunshot in the silence. 9 seconds, 10 seconds, 11 seconds. Patel looked at his lawyers desperately. They had nothing. No whispered advice. No note being passed. 12 seconds. 13 seconds. 14 seconds. His mouth opened slightly like he was trying to form words. 15 seconds. 16 seconds. 17 seconds. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. 18 seconds. 19 seconds. His throat moved as he swallowed hard. 20 seconds. The longest 20 seconds in congressional hearing history. Every person in that room counting mentally. 21 seconds. 22 seconds. 23 seconds. Finally Patel spoke. I'm sorry. Could you say that again? Goldman's expression didn't change. It's not a complicated question, Director. Does Donald Trump's name appear anywhere in document 23? I didn't say it was a complicated question. Patel was stalling and everyone knew it. I just didn't hear you clearly. Then let me be very clear. Goldman's voice was steel now. Document 23. The financial analysis you ordered sealed. The one that traces $473 million in payments. The one your analyst said required immediate investigation. Does that document mention Donald Trump's name? Yes or no? Another pause. Not as long but still damning. Senator, I'm not going to discuss specific names that may or may not appear in classified materials. Classified materials you ordered sealed. Goldman wasn't letting go. Materials that were cleared for release. Materials your own staff wanted to investigate. Answer the question. Does Trump's name appear in document 23? Patel looked at his lawyers. One of them stood up. Mr. Chairman, I think we need to take a brief recess too. Sit down, counselor. Goldman's voice was sharp. Your client can answer the question. But Patel didn't answer. He just sat there. Let me help you, Director. Goldman pulled out another document. Because I already know the answer. Document 23 mentions Donald Trump's name 17 times. 17 times in direct connection to payments, property transactions and wire transfers involving Jeffrey Epstein. The room exploded. Actual shouting now. Republicans demanding point of order. Democrats demanding answers. The chairman gaveling for order. Goldman kept going, his voice cutting through the chaos. And here's what I really want to know. Of the 47 Epstein documents that were approved for release this year, 36 were suddenly buried, reclassified, delayed, removed from the schedule, and every single one of those 36 documents mentions Donald Trump's name. Every single one. He walked back to his seat, sat down, looked directly at Patel. Document 23 was scheduled for release on September 19, 2024. It passed every legal review. It was cleared by the classification board. And then on September 18, the night before release, you personally ordered it reclassified. Why? Silence. Was it because document 23 mentions Trump 17 times? Was it because it shows financial connections that would be politically explosive? Was it because protecting Trump's reputation was more important than releasing evidence of crimes? More silence. Director Patel, I'm formally requesting that document 23 be declassified and released to this committee within 48 hours. Not redacted, not summarized. The complete document. Every name, every transaction, every detail. He turned to the chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm also requesting a criminal referral to the Department of Justice for obstruction of justice and suppression of evidence. The documentation I've presented today proves Director Patel deliberately buried critical evidence to protect individuals connected to Jeffrey Epstein's criminal network. The chairman nodded gravely. Noted, Congressman. Goldman looked at Patel one last time. The document is coming out, Director, whether you cooperate or not. The whistleblower made sure of that. All you're deciding now is whether you go down alone, or whether you take the people you've been protecting down with you. The hearing ended shortly after. The damage was done. 14 minutes. That's all it took to dismantle the FBI's most carefully constructed lie. 23 seconds. That's how long Patel sat in silence when asked if Trump's name appeared in the files. Document 23 exists. $473 million traced. 34 individuals identified. Trump's name mentioned 17 times. Patel ordered it buried. The cover-up is real. The pattern undeniable. And Goldman's evidence proves it all. Subscribe now because document 23 is being released this week. Goldman's whistleblower made sure it can't be stopped. Share everywhere. The pressure can't stop until every buried document is public. The truth is coming. And nothing Patel does can stop it now.